What's up, Transformers fans? I'm Mondo, and welcome to another Moonbase 84 transmission. Also, welcome to another episode of
Mondo's Bot Hunting Adventures.
Before we get into the video, please do the YouTube things like hitting the like button, subscribing, and all that jazz. With the YouTube stuff out of the way, let's talk about my trip to Wilbraham, Mass, where I checked out Hasbeen Collectibles and Comics. So I found out about this place from my buddy Jason, who saw one of their Facebook posts which mentioned that they were having an event celebrating their anniversary for being in business for 2 years, and asked me if I wanted to check it out. Now, people that know me know that the easiest way to kidnap me would be to ask me if I wanted to go check out toys or roll up in a van that says toys inside. So of course my answer was hell yes, I want to check it out. The post also mentioned that Optimus Prime, Kit from Knight Rider, and the A-Team van would be there as well, which sounded very cool. Jason also checked out some photos on their Facebook page, and it looked like that they had a good selection of Transformers, so yeah, I was definitely excited to go and check it out. Our adventure started out Saturday morning when I got up at 8 to get ready, which is the ass crack of dawn to somebody like me who works until 2 in the morning and isn't in bed until like 4 a.m. We grabbed some coffee and hit the road around 9:30, and we were on our way. What I didn't realize was that the shop was only like an hour away from my house, and that was really great to find out. So if I ever wanted to go back, it's only a hop, skip, and jump away. So we get there and we're immediately surprised that the traffic was a bit backed up, but nothing too terrible. Clearly the event was a bit of a bigger deal than we thought. The store itself was a modest size with a smallish type parking lot, which was already full, so we had to park down the road a bit. Again, not terrible, but again, more than we expected. Of course, we headed straight to check out Optimus Prime, and he did not disappoint. Really cool. To me, though, what caught me off guard was that he was a lot bigger than I thought he'd be. Even though I know he's a big trailer truck, just up close, he was just a bigger trailer truck than what I see around my area. I hope you can see it, but on the back there, you can see he had his sword and then some nice airbrushing paintwork on the bottom near where the trailer hitch would be. Here's a better look of the sword on the back, like I was saying, just very cool, as well as an awesome, I just really like the Autobot symbol on the front of the truck. They also had this really awesome Optimus Prime cosplayer hanging out in front of the truck. And here's the one and only Dad-Botimus Prime with Optimus Prime. I think one of the very few times anybody's seen my face on this channel. They also had a few cars there that weren't mentioned, such as this awesome Mandalorian. The helmet on the top of the car is a guy that was dressed as the Mandos. He just put it on the top to take a break. I think you can see him in the back of the picture. And they also had the Beetle Bumblebee, which is really awesome. Right there on the bottom right on the bumper, if you can make it out, is actually a 3D printed buzzsaw, and he had a laser beak on the roof as well. And once again, here's yours truly with Bumblebee. I always say I'm a big kid, and when I pulled up and saw all these different cars, these awesome cars, I had to get my picture taken with them. And here's Kit from Knight Rider. He had the little, red strobing light, which was awesome, and he had like the authentic looking dashboard console for Kit, which was awesome. We couldn't really get a picture of it because we couldn't get close enough or get the proper angle from where the car was parked, but it was really wild. And ever since I was a little kid, I've always wanted my own Kit, and now I'm reinvigorated with that. I want my own Kit. And last but not least, they had the A-Team van. Really cool. That was the most disappointing one in a way. Not because it's the A-Team van, but because you can't really tell, but in the front it was actually kind of rusty. Still cool that it's an A-Team van, but yeah, It was my least favorite out of all of them. They also had like a couple just random souped up hot rods people brought, and someone had like a Subaru decked out like the Ghostbusters car. But yeah, really cool stuff. Okay, so after checking out all the cars and taking our pictures, of course we wanted to go inside and check out the actual store. And then we noticed the problem, because there was quite a bit of people there. Like I said, it was a bigger event than like we expected, and this is just part of the line to get into the store. They only allowed so many people in, of course, because they didn't want it too crowded, probably because of fire laws and stuff. And this line was from the front of the door wrapped around the side of the building and back, and we actually waited in line 2 hours to actually get into the store. After a time in the line, we learned something else that we didn't know, which was the line was so big because IDW comic artist Casey Kohler was inside signing books and artwork and stuff. My buddy Jason and I were just two nerdy old guys that wanted to go check out Optimus Prime and some toys, so we didn't really do a lot of research on this event, as you could probably tell by now. While going through the line, we came upon this giant, massive Metroplex, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's that big, expensive Metroplex from a third party, fourth party that just came out. That one that's like, what, $3,000-$4,000? I think that's what this one was. It was massive, and I thought it was a little odd that someone would spend that much money on that Metroplex and leave it standing in the corner in the sun, but, you know, it's not mine. It was, though, very awesome and huge. So we finally got in the store, and like I said, it wasn't a big store, but it wasn't small either. It was like it was a decent size, but the one thing it was packed with stuff. I mean, not in a bad, messy way. It just had a lot, almost an overwhelming amount of stuff. Just so much awesome stuff to look at. But of course, we headed straight to the Transformers. And to me, the store did not disappoint. They had quite the selection of Transformers. They had glass cases full of Transformers from not just G1, but all through, you know, the history of Transformers. So a big selection there. They had small aisles with, you know, still mint in box Transformers from different times, eras, you name it. They had a sampling of everything up to current Transformers. So yeah, really cool. Now, as I said, the store was very busy that day, and it was very crowded. They were letting like the maximum amount of people in. So even though, you know, I got to look, I feel I didn't get to look as well as I wanted to, because, you know, you're kind of being pushed around and corralled, people trying to, you know, getting in the way. But, you know, it was okay, but I definitely want to go back when, you know, it's not as crowded and I can take more of my time. I will also say that the owner was a really great guy. He, as busy as it was, as running around as he was, he did have people helping him. He took the time to talk and joke around with everybody that came in that store, and he had a great sense of humor, like, which is kind of like my sense of humor. So yeah, I thought that guy was awesome. And I did get to speak with him myself a little bit, and this is why I think our sense of humors align pretty well. The reason he had this event and turned it into as big of a deal as he could is because when he first wanted to open up the store, his wife had said to him, like, basically in a nutshell, go ahead, but that store won't last 2 years. So he threw as big of an event as he could as a, like, I told you so to his wife. And that kind of sense of humor, messing with your wife, is right up my alley. Now, this is a bot hunting video, and so we did manage to actually pick up some bots at the store. My friend Jason here picked up this commemorative smoke screen, which was really cool. And I picked up a couple of items as well, which I'll show you very soon. But first I wanted to talk about, like, when we made our purchases and left the store, a new vehicle arrived on the scene that wasn't there when we first got in, and I went absolutely berserk. And that's because it was the Jeep from Jurassic Park. Now, those of you that watch the channel know that I'm a huge Dinobot fan. A huge Grimlock fan is my favorite character, so that's because transforming dinosaurs. So naturally, I also love dinosaurs, so I went totally wild when I saw that Jeep. Here's me in front of the Jeep doing dinosaur chomps while the owners were looking at me because I was chomping up and down while growling. Now, one thing to talk about that was kind of a bummer. I had mentioned how the store was still crowded and you got like a little pushed around and stuff like that. Well, that led me to like checking things out the best I can, making my purchases and getting out of the store without checking out Casey Collar's booth, which really sucks because Jason's cousin had gone with us to the event, and we were outside waiting for him, and he came out and he had gone to Casey Collar's booth, and he was showing us some of the stuff that he, got signed. He got quite a few things signed, and one of the things he got signed was this Grimlock print, which was the cover of I think issue 2 of Transformers 84. I think I looked that up and that's what it was. So being the huge Grimlock fan that I am, missing out on getting the artist's autograph really bums me out, and it's still eating me up now, and it is a day later, and I'm sure it will eat at me for a little bit. That's such a bummer, man. Okay, finally onto what I managed to pick up. I ended up picking up 2 things, and the first being G2 Slag. This G2 Slag is in really nice condition, and I got him for an incredible price. He was behind one of the glass cases, and I saw the price tag on him, and I said to myself, something has to be wrong with this guy. That's such a great price. So I asked to take a look at it, and he's fine. He's, like I said, really great shape. And he wasn't complete. He only came with his sword, so I'm missing the gun, but still, for that price, I think it was a really good pickup for what I paid. And the last thing I picked up was the Transformers Godzilla Megatron crossover. Now, I know what a lot of you might be thinking, like, why did you do that? The figure's not that great, but we do know there's things on the way to help improve this figure, and I have another idea to make this figure even better. So you'll be seeing more of this Godzilla Megatron very, very soon. So that was Mondo's Bot Hunting Adventures at Hasbeen Collectibles and Comics in Wilbraham, Mass. And even though we had to deal with a long wait in the line and a crowded store where it prevented us from really being able to check things out like we would have liked to, I still had a really fun and amazing time. The stuff outside, the Prime, the Bumblebee, the Jurassic Park Jeep, really cool. And the store itself I was really impressed. A fantastic store. Like I said, just so much stuff, but not in a negative way. It was, nicely, laid out and planned and organized, but just, I plan on going back to where I can take my time and, check things out, easier without being pushed around. And I will say that the guys' prices are really fair. You can find a lot of good deals there. From just a little bit I was able to check out, really fairly priced. Like I said, the owner was a really great guy. It was just an amazing experience overall, minus the things I was bummed out about. Not being able to get that, still eats me not being able to get that Grimlock autograph. But yeah, such a great day. We plan on going back within the month of April. It is Tron's birthday, so I want to take him to show him the store where we can, as I said, take our time and make a day of it, maybe have some lunch. But yeah, really great time. happy with what I was able to pick up. That will wrap up the video. I hope you enjoyed this episode of my bot hunting adventures. Comment to let me know what you think, and until next time, thanks for docking.